Katowice, my second trip to a Counter-Strike event, this time hosted in deepest, darkest Poland. If you want to go, book rooms as early as you can because they're not prepared for tourists here. I left it till 3 weeks before and there was almost nowhere left to stay. I felt like Mary from that story from the Bible. I mean, I can't compare my struggles with hers, though I did kind of lose my voice a bit, but I don't think you could notice.
So, here we are in Katowice.
There's something about these events. I think it's the scale. When you see it on a screen, you kind of take it for granted, putting it in the same category as every large event that you see on a screen. But in person, it's certainly very impressive. Arrive early and you get to see the queue, but it's more like a crowd that stretches far back and around the corner from the event itself, hosted in the Spodek Arena. A place that looks so much like a UFO that it's marketed as such. Fortunately, I had a VIP pass and could enter around the back.
With the game that matters? Stupid game that no one cares about? Stupid game that no one cares about? Stupid game that no one cares about? Currently that no one cares about?
Unlike the ESL 1 Cologne event that I visited last year, Katowice comprises of two separate things, joined by a few long underground corridors. There's the arena itself, but also a huge square building filled with stalls and events. This was certainly a lot more comprehensive than the ESL 1 event, perhaps because it's not just about CSGO. You see all sorts of other games being played here as well. And I liked it. Although you can walk around all of the events in about half an hour, there are plenty of small details and interactive events that will more than keep you entertained between the CSGO matches being played across the 3 days. There are also smaller tournaments hosted in the room, like all-female CSGO matches and Dota-like games that I don't really have that much interest in, but it's there if you do. There was an unlimited, free Sprite stall, lots of mechanical keyboards, gaming mice and super high-tech PCs and systems to try out. I played Minecraft on one of them. Best was a series of 21:9 ultra widescreen monitors being showcased, only to have people play CSGO on them with huge black bars either side. I like the Chroma mousepad. The true rainbow setup is now possible. I particularly liked the death room, where players had to remain focused despite whatever was thrown or squirted at them. There was a load of people in costume walking around, as well as an adorable penguin that became one of the highlights for me. What can I say? This place felt alive. There were a lot of teams and famous people walking about as well. I finally got to see ninjas in pyjamas in the flesh. VR also played a large part. I tried it out myself, stood in a dark warehouse throwing flares with one hand and shooting things in the shadows with the other. It was fun and all that, but I'm still waiting for developers to discover the must-have VR game, rather than simply remaking basic Flash games with this technology. I guess that's being harsh. Some were very impressive, but were also completely impractical for the average gamer to have in their bedroom. It's certainly advanced a lot since I saw it all last year. I also spotted lovely 3D cameras at the event itself, trundling around and filming stuff from all angles. Here it is, just in case you wanted to know what it looked like. Although most of the top teams got knocked out before the arena matches started, I really enjoyed the matches being played. I got to know teams I otherwise wouldn't have. My girlfriend had surprising success guessing the winning teams just based on how fit their players were. The arena itself I believe is significantly smaller than the one in Cologne, and I guess it lacks the middle VIP rooms which certainly wouldn't have fitted in this stadium. But it's still got that arena atmosphere and, if anything, was too full most of the time for me to find seats anywhere but the VIP area. So although I tried to take pictures of where I was sat throughout the tournament in case people wanted to say hi, which some of you did, sadly a lot of the time I simply wasn't in an approachable place. What about life beyond the arena? Well, there isn't a lot to do besides shopping, but there are some excellent malls with fabulous clothing shops. Supermarkets are only a little bit cheaper than in England, but eating out is a lot more affordable, so I ended up doing that a lot. But I had to get a purple pack of Lay's crisps to discover if it was still Worcester sauce flavour.
Scissor in its stack, and it's normally Worcester sauce. I think purple ones are just whatever the speciality is in that country. What's that? That's more like beef and onion.
Everywhere I went I got serious Deus Ex vibes from the architecture and decorations. I even went to a nightclub until dawn and got punched by somebody shouting a lot of Polish very quickly and angrily. I can definitely say that I experienced Poland to the max in this visit.
Here we are, in Poland. My voice is coming back, it's still terrible. And I think this would make a good Counter-Strike level. Check a couple of walkways in, one side down the bottom. Dziękuję.
At the arena itself, DJ Hardwell played just before the finals. It was loud, bassy, and with some great pyrotechnics. Look, there he is. The atmosphere was great, and then the final match of the tournament started. I've never watched a best of 5 before. It goes on for a long time. This one went on to map 4. this wouldn't have been a problem, but the match only started at about 7 at night on the Sunday, which I think is a terrible idea. It was midnight before it ended and a lot of seats were empty, probably because people had trains to catch or places to be the following morning. I was almost relieved when it was over, which is a shame because the matches themselves were excellent and Nika was badass throughout, giving Astralis huge problems every round until the very end, but they still won. I'd like to thank the guys at ESL for inviting me along. I enjoyed the whole experience in a different way from Cologne last year and can certainly recommend it if you're looking to experience not just the CSGO tournament, but a large gaming event in person.